tonight is 6:05 p.m. It is July 14th, 2022. Pass this down to Kat. I'd like to call this meeting to order. And as usual, we can rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we will begin our meeting tonight with public comment. Those who'd like to speak can put their name on the list. We would like to limit public speakers to 3 minutes or less. And then anyone who would like to participate via Zoom could log in, and then Kat Styler, who's our videographer and Zoom specialist, will let that individual in. So Charlene, first on our list is
Judy Johnson.
Okay, Judy, welcome. And again, please state your name and address for the record.
Thank you. Mayor, trustees, and neighbors. I live on Little Plains Road, and the reason that I'm here tonight is there have been 2 incidents on my block. Once it was a truck fire 3 weeks ago, and a week later it was a gas leak, which our fire department responded very promptly and took care of. My concern tonight, though, is the parking in the village for the safety of the residents, particularly in the neighborhood where I live, where there are a lot of senior citizens. Today I rode down to the ocean, and there are actually 10 no parking signs posted between Post Lane and Old Town Crossing, which are the same street, and Gin Lane. Actually, the block that I live on has 4 houses on each side of the street. 3 of those houses have double curb cuts, so you can't park there, supposedly. And the blocks are basically 700 feet from one street to the other. Last Thursday afternoon, I came home at 2 o'clock, and there were 20 vehicles parked along that street. And I'm not talking about Mini Coopers, I'm talking about big trucks. The plumber's truck was even around the corner. And my concern is, can ambulances and fire equipment get through this? So I was upset, and I called 283-0056. And I got a very nice dispatcher who sent 2 ordnance men, Angel Perez and George. And they said there isn't much we can do about it because we don't have rules. He said we try to keep everybody on one side of the street. Well, even that would be a help, but these 20 cars were on both sides of the street. So I felt that it was important that someone speak about this because it's going on all over the village. It's not just my block.
Yeah.
Angel Perez and George told me that they have many calls complaining about this. So I've been riding around a little bit, and Halsey Street is one bottleneck. Another bottleneck today was Herrick Road, where I was heading east and the guy heading west had to wait for me to go by, which he did politely. But as a result of this, I've been in touch twice with the building department. I spoke to a couple of people there, and I have discovered that in the last calendar year, there have been 260 building permits issued in this village. Only 31 of those are from the ground up new houses or tear downs. So all the other things could be little things like decks or sheds or something. However, that's a lot of construction for a village that has this geographic area. And so this is a continuing problem. It's not just because it's summertime. So I beg you to look into this and see what you can do to alleviate the problem, because there are at least 14 senior citizens within a stone's throw of my house. And if anybody gets sick and an ambulance can't get through, I'm going to be very upset, and they're going to be even more upset. So thank you for listening. I appreciate it very much, and I trust you, as I always say, to do something about it.
Thank you very much, Judy. That's an excellent points you made, and I actually do plan on addressing this later tonight because you make very apt points. This is a constant issue, and as the ordinance inspector said, our laws only allow for so much, so it's time for our board to actually address this and amend our code and come up with some solutions to address this problem that actually is increasing over time. So I'm very happy you brought this up tonight,
and it's a good timing for you to do it, so thank you.
Well, given all the problems in the village, this is a minor one, but to me, it's a major one.
Thank you.
And I would agree with the mayor, because the village administrator and myself were out driving around and we noticed the same thing. So we are in agreement with you. Just this week we noticed that. So we're in agreement with you along with the mayor. Thank you.
Shirley, who is next?
Ian Duke.
Okay, Ian Duke, nice to see you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening to the board, good evening to my neighbors, good evening Mayor Warren. The owners of Southwest Social Club, we would like to put forward an idea for you to consider. We would like to suggest the creation of a dedicated taxi, Uber, Lyft pickup spot at Southampton train station. Doing this, we believe, would be very helpful to all of our neighbors in getting all of our valued departing guests away from in front of our venue in an expedient fashion, hence cutting down on any residual noise coming from their conversations while waiting to be taken home. This also would be one more reason that we would have fewer people driving their own vehicles, as everyone would learn about this rather quickly. This is done, by the way, if any of you haven't seen it before, it's done very commonly at stadiums and arenas where people are going to rock shows, events like that, and all of the Ubers, they're all notified of where the pickup and drop-off spots are, as is the guest. So it would be a good starting point for them knowing where they're supposed to go. This would also be one more chance to reduce drinking and driving, because we're organizing the system. We're making it so it's efficient. So people know, hey, I get my car, I get dropped off here, I go do what I want to do, I come back to this spot, and I go home. We don't have any lingering, and again, cut back on drinking and driving. We propose that we would utilize a series of removable A-frame signs along our sidewalk that we would be able to put up late at night, say 11 p.m. And these signs would have Uber, Lyft, taxi with arrows on them, pointing our guests, again, in the direction of the train station. They wouldn't in any way damage the aesthetic of the community, because we would bring them in each night. So they'd only be visible to our guests, and of course the guests of our neighbors, T-Bar next door, and elegant affairs going in the old Polish Hall. We of course would love to coordinate with them in addition, because with them also doing nightlife and going to be doing more events, we're only going to see more people. And we would love to create an organized flow for all of this, which again we think would be better for all of our neighbors, all of our guests, to make life a little bit easier for everybody. We would also offer our security guards as one more means to be guiding people in the right direction. We'd be happy to pay for said signage and even additional signage that would be required at the train station if there is any needed to provide indication for where those cars should be parked. Finally, we'd also be happy to spend the time and resources to aid in the creation of the said pickup drop-off area, because there will be a lot of coordination, and we recognize that everyone's very busy. Thank you for your time. We hope that you will give our suggestion some consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have on the signage.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else who'd like to make public comment tonight? If not, we can move forward with our employees of the month. In this particular month, we actually have two employees. The first employee of the month is Brenda Pinkney, Building Maintenance Department, and she's a custodial worker 3, and also Mary Ann Wright, who's also in the Building Maintenance Department and also custodial worker 3. So I'm going to read a few anecdotes about some information regarding Brenda, who's been an outstanding employee for a very long time at this village, who basically acts and conducts herself with the highest degree of professionalism, as well as Mary Ann Wright, and we're very lucky to have both of them as part of our team. But Brenda, for example, actually had a little situation where she was actually in the elevator in the firehouse, and she was doing an incredible job, as she always does there, and she actually found herself stuck in one of those elevators and was able to remain calm and professional throughout the whole time. And basically, she is just a total team player. She organizes and maintains the firehouse as well as other buildings, and she's just an outstanding employee. And I can say the same for Mary Ann Wright, who in this incident actually helped get Brenda out of this situation. But both Mary Ann and Brenda really are the heart of our building maintenance department. They do everything they're asked without an issue, and they make sure that every single building in this village is extraordinarily clean and well maintained, and they conduct themselves to the highest professional standards. So again, we're very lucky to have Brenda and Mary Ann. I've gotten to know both of them very, very well over the last several years, and I hold them in the highest possible regard. So I wanted to congratulate Brenda and Mary Ann on their nomination to be the Employees of the Month, and we thank them very much for helping us get in and out of that situation. So as we move on with our board presentations, we have two tonight. The one we may put on hold. The first is the Park Mobile. And Charlene, do we have anyone to present here tonight?
I believe we have Ron Ross who sent a link.
Okay.
And the chief of police from East Hampton Village.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. So we will continue with this one tonight.
Pat, do we see Ron Ross?
We have Captain Sweeney and who I think is Ken Gray coming in.
And there should be one
That's it.
for
Only two people on,
Michael. Okay.
unless it's Captain Sweeney. I'm sorry.
All right. We could proceed with the second board presentation, which is the surf schools, and then maybe Charlene, if you can just give the two speakers a heads up, we can get going. So I'll turn this over to the Southampton Surf Committee. Whoever would like to come forward, or everyone, feel free, and we're looking forward to the board presentation tonight.
Good evening. We discussed the surf committees this week after us. We're part of the surf committee, but we're OC Surf. I'm Luke, this is Will and Allie, and we want to address allegations that have been being made against us since April by village residents about our operation. We grew up here in Southampton. We went through all of our schooling here in Southampton and built our lives around this special place. We developed our love for the outdoors, the ocean, and the beaches here. We're all certified ocean lifeguards. Will and I have served on the Village Ocean Rescue since its inception in 2017. I've served as a lieutenant and a captain and a lieutenant again this year. We've all been teaching surfing and ocean safety in and around the village for over 10 years. Throughout that time, we've worked and ran camps and lessons of all different sizes and kids and all different conditions. Learned how to teach and work with students of all ages and skill levels, 3 and 4 year olds first time in the ocean, just having some fun, making sure they're safe and have a good experience. Parents wanted to join with their kids and get into something and bond with their kids that way. People look for help getting back into surfing. We've worked with students with special needs, and a lot of people just want to get more comfortable in the ocean. We go to the ocean, swim with them, just kind of making sure everybody's safe. We spent the better part of our teaching working under a larger surf school. We took a lot away from that at that time. We started OC Surf here in the village in 2020. We decided on 3 essential things to share with our students and prioritize: safety, respect, preservation of what we love. And that's just a huge part of surfing in general, anything operating in the ocean. We're here today specifically to address allegations that have been made against us in our surf school at Halsey Neck last summer. Allegations that go against the way we were raised and the lives that we live. Surfing and the beaches and community here have given us a special opportunity to build a life and a business. We operate in a way to maintain and grow our business year after year without jeopardizing it. The allegations and what's been spoken against us in every way would jeopardize our business. Being irresponsible with clients, criminal activity, polluting the beaches. None of these are anything we'd allow anyone to work with us to do or anything we do ourselves. We appreciate the support the community has shown for surfing and surf schools over the years. We don't take it lightly that we have the opportunity to do this in a permanent process and everything to operate, and we have the support of the village and the community behind us. So it's just a thank you, and kind of here to set the record straight. We've seen what's been said, we've read what's been said, and we appreciate the village having our back and supporting surf schools over the years and continuing to. So thank you.
Thank you very much,
Answer
Luke.
any questions? Charlene's got our contact and everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys going through the process of your application for a surf school license, and not only following our village code, but also through the SURF committee actually helping us better our village code. So thank you very much for the presentation. So with that said, if there's an additional presentation from the SURF schools, do you know if there is, or is?
No, just the SURF committee is going to speak specifically to the woman's the allegations against us, and like that's a review of that. I don't think the. You have anything you want to say? Yeah. No.
Okay.
So just our SURF committee chairman's going to say something.
Okay.
And we have a recommendation.
Thank you. And again, the SURF committee could be convened anytime in order to update any policy and procedures. We think you guys did a great job, pre-pandemic as far as the way everything was structured and help us solve an important issue in the village.
Good evening. My name is Steve Delaney, and I'm the representative of the SURF committee. And as general background, Mayor Warren initiated the SURF committee end of summer 2019 because of, I would say, overcrowding in the beaches where the good surf was between recreational swimmers, recreational surfers, and then the surf schools that were operating at the time. We had our committee over the winter and made some suggestions to the trustees, which were put into effect in the town code. As Luke brought up, there were some allegations against his surf school from last summer. I didn't know about any of that until this came up. I can vouch for Luke and his crew that I don't really think these are things that we would have done. Not to elaborate on that, but he has also asked that some of the regulations that are brought forth in the ordinance for the surf camps, specifically the number of students allowed and the use of hard top surfboards or hard surfboards versus the soft top surfboards for more advanced surfers. We have had one member of the committee asked that if we present these requests for changes, that decisions not be made just yet, that they be tabled until the SURF committee can meet more formally to discuss the requested changes. Luke has asked that his more advanced surfers be able to use traditional surfboards. They're hard fiberglass surfboards. Now the regulation is that they use soft top surfboards, and the reason being that the soft top surfboards are not conducive to advanced surfing. And as these kids progress, it's felt that they need to be able to use better equipment. The numbers of students going from allotted 12, Luke has requested that they go to 16. If there's any other items that you wanted to...
The lessons, 2 to 1 at our
Oh, the ratio.
discretion. Yeah.
Ratio of instructors to students to increase from 1-to-1, 1-on-1 to 2 students per instructor based on the students' skill levels.
And conditions.
And
We can elaborate on that, but it's just,
Yeah. Again, we would like to have a more formal meeting of the committee to discuss these things and hash them out prior to any decisions being made. And that's about it from the committee. Oh, yeah. We want to ban smoking on the beaches.
Okay.
That's it for the committee, I think. Would you want to add something?
No, just thank you for having the committee to exist, and we had an informal meeting with the committee last week, and yeah, we're happy to, I think it's a good point that Vinnie McGann made to sit down with trustees, or with just Charlene, however it works out timing-wise, to have a more formal meeting to just explain it to everybody. The committee agreed informally, but we're happy to discuss formally, just so everybody understands exactly what we're talking about.
Okay. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your hard work,
Thank you very much.
and looking forward to hearing again from you guys. Thank you, Stephen. Okay. So do we have any updates from the Park Mobile
We do
people?
not,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, and I tried to contact Mr. Ross and did not get him, and the invites that we sent, no one logged in, so I would say that we should probably table this till the 21st.
Okay. Excellent. I think that makes a lot of sense anyway. So in the interim, do we have anyone from the Old Town Lodge of Freemasons here? Okay. So I wanted to basically take this opportunity tonight to thank the Brethren of Old Town Lodge and of Free and Accepted Masons. They made a extraordinarily generous donation to the village on behalf of Ocean Rescue. Luke is one of the officers there, for a new jet ski and other important life-saving equipment. So I just wanted to present you two gentlemen, anyone else, a proclamation. So I'm going to read this to you tonight. But even this proclamation just can't thank you enough for the generous donation to the community. So I'll read this. Whereas the Brethren of Old Town Lodge and Free and Accepted Masons are honored for their service to Southampton Village and their generous donation for a jet ski trailer and rescue dolly for the Southampton Ocean Rescue. And whereas the Brethren of Old Town Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons have demonstrated long-standing commitment to improving the quality of life in Southampton Village. And whereas the Brethren of Old Town Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons have improved public safety and allowed for quicker response times on the water for the Southampton Ocean Rescue. And whereas the Brethren of Old Town Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons sustain dedication to their community, illustrating their consideration for others and setting an example for all to follow. So now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Jesse Warren, Mayor of the Village of Southampton, unanimously express our sincere appreciation for the Brethren of Old Town Lodge of Free and Accepted Masons for this outstanding service to our community, and we extend them our utmost gratitude for their work and wish them the best of their future endeavors. Signed this 14th day of July. So I'll come over and I will present this to you, gentlemen, and thank you again. You'll see the equipment, and obviously feel free to come down to the beach, but I guess we'll take a
Robin's got
picture, I
it.
guess. Thank you very much. And also just wanted to thank Josh Bellery, who's also a member and also a member of Ocean Rescue, who helped facilitate this, and everyone else who played a part in this. So thank you again. So we'll move to our discussion items tonight. I have a second one I'd like to add to the agenda, but the first one is going to be led by Trustee Bill Manger regarding the traffic lights and crosswalk synchronization and other traffic concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, we were talking about traffic earlier. One of the issues that I have seen in the village is that the traffic lights, specifically I'm referring to the intersection of Hampton Road, Main Street, and Nugent, are not synchronized with the walk and don't walk signs. And you know, you're supposed to push the button and the light will eventually change, and then you can safely walk across the street. But I'm seeing that some people are unaware that they are supposed to push the button, and they get stuck on one side of the street, and at some point they just give up waiting for the walk sign and they run across the street. So I think this is an accident waiting to happen, and I think we could resolve this by synchronizing the walk, don't walk signs with the red and green traffic directional lights. Another issue that I've seen happen in the last couple of few weeks is at the fork where North Sea Road then divides with Windmill Lane. There are a lot of people from out of town that don't realize that the right lane is for going down Windmill Lane and the left lane is for going straight into the village. I've now had twice people in the right lane cut me off because they want to actually go into the village and don't want to go down Windmill Lane. I did stop someone and say, you shouldn't have done that. You were in the right turn lane, and they said, well, I'm from Massachusetts, I'm not from here, I didn't realize that. One way I think that we can resolve this, and I've actually spoken to some other residents in the village, and they said that there are communities where actually up, in front of the light, you have directional arrows that say if you're in the right lane, that's a right turn lane, or if you're in the center lane, that's the go straight lane. We have the same situation on Hampton Road, where unless you live in the village and you know the traffic patterns, there are some instances on Hampton Road where you actually get in the right lane to go straight, and there are other instances where you get in the center lane to go straight. And again, unless you are driving around these streets on a regular basis, you're not aware of where you're really supposed to line up. So again, that's another area where I think we should look at putting directional signs above the street so that people know where they're supposed to line up. It'll cause a lot less confusion, especially for all of the out-of-town visitors we have in the village. So I raised these with DPW. I've spoken to Trustee Aresta about this, and we would just like to get a consensus from the board if the board thinks these are good changes, and then we can go forward with having DPW look at signage for lanes, as well as the synchronization of the traffic light with the walk and don't walk signs. But thank you very much. Those were the issues I wanted to discuss.
All right. Thank you, Trustee Manger. Any comments from the board?
Bill, when you said they would synchronize, I thought what you meant was that it says walk when the light is green, meaning cars are coming, that's not the problem.
Yeah, that's not the problem. The problem is the light turns green, but the walk sign does not change from don't walk to walk, and it's
only if you push the button does it change to
correct,
walk.
correct. But I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know they're supposed to push the button,
right.
and honestly, instead of having people just all of a sudden make a run for it,
Yeah.
I think it would be good if the light was
It
consistent
should
with
say
the walk,
but
don't walk.
it's safe to walk.
Yes, yes, yes. Anyway, that's my point.
Okay, I couldn't understand.
Yeah, no,
when you said they
I
were
didn't maybe
synchron-
explain it properly, but that's the issue. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Well, I'm all for safety first, so.
Thank you,
yes.
Robin.
I'll speak to Gary about that.
Okay.
The synchronization, I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah.
I look at the cars.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's the right thing to do. But if you're a pedestrian and you sometimes I've seen
Mhm.
people stand there for like 2 cycles of a light and they're not sure when they're allowed to
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. So I just wanted to add a second brief discussion item that also has to do with traffic. And as more and more traffic comes out to the east end of Long Island, really through West Hampton, through Montauk, there's just an increased number of vehicles. And while this has been some time, been this case for some time now, I would like to discuss with the board a way to actually fix this problem. So the first problem that we've identified is there's just still too much speeding going on through the side streets. And we want to make sure that we reiterate to our residents how important this is in order to fix this. We're actually working with the state legislature to actually amend the New York state law so that we can actually lower speed limits if the traffic study would indicate that. And then secondly, there is an inordinate amount of vehicles parked on side streets. Judy Johnson basically brought that up tonight as well. But I'd like this board to work with our village police department and our village attorney, Ken Gray, in order to amend some of our legislation so that, number one, we can't see this overload of construction vehicles just parked on side streets, either basically making it difficult for village residents to get through, and even more so difficult for emergency services vehicles to get through. And then, in addition to that, we really also need to see what's within our purview in order to prevent some of these trucks from driving through some of our side streets, because our side streets are not thoroughfares and highways. And we are working with the New York State Department of Transportation and the Suffolk County Public Works Department, and that's in progress. But I really would like to direct our village attorney, Ken Gray, also make sure we loop in our village administrator, to really make this one of our short-term priorities as to address any of these traffic concerns. When we hear and listen to village residents, this is a very important concern. So we need to take action now on this topic, and we also need to make sure that we have our traffic study which is in the works, and get that also to the finish line. So I'm basically calling for everyone to help, which we already are doing, and also just let our village attorney know that we can really use your help as far as looking through our code, looking through our parking regulations, and working hand in hand with our village police department to make sure that we have the right code in place, and we're here to amend the code when we can. So I don't know if there's any other discussion from the board here.
Just on that, I did talk to Acting Chief Hertow about where she saw in the village that there was a lack of code. And she said that she would really appreciate if the board would ask the village attorney to designate Hill Street from the intersection with Windmill Lane to First Neck as an area that they can issue tickets for improper turns. She said right now we do not have that in the code, and so they are unable to issue some of the tickets for improper turns made on that specific section of Hill Street. So she asked that we look into that and change the code to address improper turns on that small section of Hill Street.
Excellent. So
I
don't
will contact the acting chief and have that conversation.
Thank you, Ken, very much.
Thank you, Ken. And then perhaps at our next meeting, we could notice out a public hearing as well to amend that particular code, but there's some other portions of our code that I'd like to amend, both from a speeding perspective as well as from a just a traffic and parking perspective. I saw a number of trucks also parked on First Neck Lane. A lot of people like to use that street to get to Cooper's Beach and some of other beaches, and that's become a situation as well. So we also want to address that street among many others.
Mr. Mayor, I've had several residents talk to me about the inherent danger of these big trucks parking on either side of the small side streets and creating basically a slalom course for the cars and for any pedestrians and anybody on bicycles. You can't see what's going on, and the cars are weaving out, and as Ms. Johnson said, sometimes you have to get behind the car and wait for the other car to come, and really there's a solution. I mean, in Europe, I've been told, or even in New York City, you have alternate side of the street. I mean, other day in Europe, it's like the first 15 days of the month you park on one side, on the second half you park on the other side. Now that would reduce obviously the parking capacity by 50% because you couldn't park on both sides. And it would be a solution. The problem, really the only problem is, as I see it, it's expensive. You've got to put up a whole lot of signs all around the village letting people know that that's the rule. But I think it's getting to a critical point in terms of what Ms. Johnson said. You can't get down some of these streets. Sometimes there's so many big trucks there. So
Also, I think what Trustee Brown and I witnessed is that if there's a house that's having major construction.
there's 20 cars there.
There's 20 cars parked,
Yeah.
and basically they don't want these
Nothing.
construction cars parked in their driveway,
Yes.
but
Right.
they're parked in the village street.
Right.
So maybe we should have something through the building permit process where construction vehicles that are performing construction duties or work at these large estates need to be parked on their property.
Yes.
Well, I believe years ago there had to be something in place that there would be working, the people that were working on, for the construction companies, they would park on narrow lane, or by the school area, there'd be designated places for them to park with the permit, and then a bus would come by, pick them up, and take them all to the job site on some of these but I noticed that I haven't seen that. But years ago I remember seeing that. And to speak of the other issue, I was on South Main Street this morning. There was landscaping trucks and construction trucks on each side of the, and I'm walking. We had to get up on the grass. There were cars waiting behind trucks that you couldn't even see what was coming the other way. And this was on South Main Street, which is one of the
wider streets.
Yeah, it's a wider street there. So I mean, they should do what we do on Lewis Street. I mean, there's only parking on one side, so the ambulance can get through. And we may have to start thinking about doing that on some of the other narrow streets that are heavily.
I would also consider that they might need to park on the property of the grounds
Yeah.
they're working
Yeah.
on.
I agree
Yeah.
with Trustee Brown. The first and foremost, they should try
Yes.
and park on the property where they're
First.
working.
Yes.
And if that is then full, they should move out.
Right.
But, maybe do an
Right.
alternate side of the street.
In
so
addition
that,
to-
Yeah.
But there should be something on the building permit itself that says your construction vehicles must be parked off the street on your property if possible. I
Yeah.
understand,
Mhm.
some of the other streets that they just don't have the ability, but someone with a gate and a long driveway certainly could accommodate 5 or 6 construction vehicles.
Mhm.
I also have reached out directly to the New York State Department of Transportation, and they've actually gotten back to me, and so we're having some dialogue at the moment. And there is a traffic light on Hill Street as it becomes Montauk Highway by St. Andrews Road. It's not a village-run traffic light. It's actually not even in the village, but it affects traffic coming and going through Hill Street and creates a bottleneck. And we've asked the New York State Department of Transportation, who actually controls that light, to during certain hours, for example, from 3 o'clock to about 6:30 p.m., to actually keep a longer green light to keep traffic moving. In addition to that, the Deputy Mayor and I have reached out to the Suffolk County Department of Public Works, and we've also asked them to extend, again, these are county lights, we've also asked them to extend the light on County Road 39 as you come into the village, because we just want to keep traffic flowing during the trade parade hours. So we wanted to let the village residents know that we're working for them, we're pushing all the buttons, if you will, to get the job done, but we're also making sure that the traffic and parking issues are one of our top priorities. And then while I also reached out to the Suffolk County, we asked them to put in a ticket to actually trim some of the grass on County Road 39, which is getting overgrown, and they actually already put in a ticket for us, and so the county's going to come out and repair that as well. Many village residents don't know that that's not our public works department, that's the county, and they've been very good to work with as well.
I just wanted to add about the lights and the timing of the lights on the highway. The thinking behind that is that if the traffic on the highway keeps moving, people will not go off of the highway and into our side streets just to keep moving, that they would stay on the highway. That's the thinking behind that. So we're trying to get them during the rush hour times to extend the time on the signals. So every little bit helps. Now, there isn't just one solution, but as the mayor said, we are working very hard to try and help with this the traffic situation here.
All right, thank you. Is there any other points from the board? And if not, we'll keep on moving. So Charlene, I will turn over the suggested resolution section to you, and we can take it from there. Thank you.
Turn on my microphone. Testing, it's working?
We have a separate fancy microphone.
Thank you. Resolution number 1, resolve the claims for the warrant dated July 14th, 2022, totaling $1,142,372.85, warrant 86 general fund, $12,022.50, warrant H2 capital fund, $83,092.75, warrant 85 payables, $10,898.08, warrant T3 trust fund, $14,588.70, warrant H3 capital payables, $13,119.19, warrant A7 general utilities, and $1,528.28, 8 general utilities are audited and approved. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 2, resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the application for surf school license for OC Surf School, locations to be determined, submitted by Luke O'Connor. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 3, resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Incorporated Village of Southampton authorizes the village clerk to publish the notice of public hearing to be held August 23rd, 2022 at 6 p.m. as a hybrid in-person/Zoom meeting regarding the draft of the updated comprehensive master plan. All members of the public will have an opportunity to be heard and to provide comments. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 4, the Board of Trustees granted a special exception use for Heart of the Hamptons on March 29th, 2022, and whereas the application is pending review at the Planning Board, which has had a scheduled had scheduling delays. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the request for extension of this special exception permit for the Heart of the Hamptons and grants an extension of that exception for an additional 90 days. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 5, resolved that the Board of Trustees meetings will, unless otherwise announced, be held at 6 p.m. in the Village Boardroom as follows. Public session meeting the second Thursday of every month, work session meeting the second Tuesday following the public session meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution 6, resolved that the treasurer shall deposit all monies received by virtue of her office. It is hereby authorized and directed to continue to deposit all village funds not required to satisfy immediate expenditures in interest-bearing accounts as allowed by law, and that these funds shall be deposited with the following institutions which have agreed to abide to the village investment policy and the requirements of Section 2 of General Municipal Law and other provisions, Section 11, I'm sorry, of General Municipal Law and other provisions of law relating to this subject. M&T Bank, formerly known as People's United Bank, Dime Bank, formerly known as BNB, MBIA Bank of New York Class, and Signature Bank. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 7, resolved that in the absence of both the treasurer and the deputy treasurer, checks drawn on village accounts may be approved only by the signatures of the mayor and a trustee or 2 trustees.
Motion.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 8, resolved that the Board of Trustees adopts the village investment policy for 2022-23 as attached. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 9, resolve the recording secretaries for the Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals, Board of Architectural Review, Historic Preservation, and the Planning Commission continue to be paid $200 per meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 10, resolve that the Board of Trustees approves Mary Pfeiffer, who will be volunteering to assist trustee Robin Brown with various village initiatives and project implementation effective July 15, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 11, resolved that the mayor respectfully requests a motion to approve the following appointments for one-year terms ending June 30th, 2022. Village Clerk Kathy Sweeney, 111 at a salary of $111,180. Deputy Village Clerk Karen Bontempo, $66,300. Deputy Treasurer Aaron King, $83,640. Village Attorney Kenneth A. Gray, Partner B. Ready Fishpine Hatter and Donovan LLP. Village Planning Consultants Nelson Copeland Voorhees, and Village Assessor William McCoy. Is there a motion?
I actually wanted to make a motion to amend this. I know Ken's on here, but I thought we have the Be Ready Fishpine Hatter and Donovan LLP as the firm that's representing us rather than one specific person. And Ken, actually, he's on this, but maybe he could help us clarify that. That's what I was amending it to, having the attorney be the firm versus the individual.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so as amended, village attorney is the firm of Be Ready Fishpine Hatter and Donovan LLP. So on the amendment, on the amended resolution,
Make the motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 12, resolved that the Board of Trustees appoints Alexa Shumway to the position of Student Intern 1 at an hourly rate of $15 per hour, effective July 6th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 13, the Board of Trustees approves the hiring of Gavin Johnston as a Coopers Beach lifeguard at the rate of $17 per hour, effective July 7th, 2022. A motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 14, the Board of Trustees approves the mayor or village administrator to sign the retirement agreement for Gary Gillespie, Superintendent of Public Works, Actually, I'm going to make a
Amend that.
motion to amend that because we will be, the date will be to be determined, as Gary may be extending his stay for another couple of weeks, and he does have some time off coming. So I'm just going to say to be determined, it'll be sometime before the end of August. So on the, do I have a motion to amend the resolution?
Motion to amend?
Second?
Second?
All in favor of the
Aye.
amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the amended resolution, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Second?
I have a quick discussion, though, before I vote on this. I haven't seen the retirement agreement, and from what I understand is in there, I do have some concerns about it. So I certainly cannot vote for this, in favor of this, but I do know enough to be able to vote no for now until we can make some changes. But obviously, if the board wants to pass it without me, that's fine. But I've got some issues with what I have been told is in it, and so.
Circulated to the board a few meetings ago, before. It was approved by the board in exec session and then sent to Gary to review.
I know it wasn't approved by me in executive session. If that's what this agreement is, then I certainly, and I actually have a very pleasant, positive experience with Gary, but I've got some sticking points with that. So I'm going to vote no on this just because I don't like what's in it. But
Maybe we should defer this to executive session.
Mm-hmm.
It's a personnel
Let's
matter.
table it.
Okay.
okay, motion to table.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution number 15, the Board of Trustees approves Liam Keating as probationary member of the Agawam Engine Company Number 1 effective July 14th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 16, resolve the Board of Trustees approves Gary Duffy as a probationary member of Agawam Hose Company Number 1 effective July 14th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 17, resolved that the Board of Trustees approves Jagger Maddock as a probationary member of the Hook and Ladder Company Number 1 effective July 14th, 2021. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 18, resolved the Board of Trustees approves David Worrell as a probationary member of the Hook and Ladder Company Number 1 effective July 14th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 19, the Board of Trustees accepts the resignation of Southampton Village Fire Department Agawam Hose Company Number 1 member Andrew Castle effective June 14th, 2022. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 20, resolved that the Board of Trustees accepts the letter of suspension issued by First Assistant Emmanuel Escobar of Southampton Village Fire Department to member Donna Bennett effective July 6, 2022 for 30 days. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 21, resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the beach event application for Little Plains Beach on Monday, August 22nd at 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. for 100 to 199 guests. Parking will be pre-coordinated and exception parking letters will be conspicuously displayed on vehicles during the event. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 22, resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the Peconic Baykeeper Organization to park at Cooper's Beach on Friday, August 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. Valet service will be present to manage the 60 spaces allocated to the most western portion of Cooper Beach parking lot. This request is in support of their annual fundraiser to be held at 370 Meadow Lane. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 23, the Board of Trustees approves the Southampton Youth Association to host a bike-a-thon on Friday, July 22nd, 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. to start and finish near the Southampton Elementary School. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 24, whereas the Board of Trustees hereby approved Hudson Helping Hands for Autism to host a volleyball tournament fundraiser at Cooper's Beach on Sunday, August 7th from 2 to 8 p.m. And whereas they are seeking your approval in case of inclement weather. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approves Hudson Helping Hands for Autism to host their event the following week as a rain date of Sunday, August 14th, 2022 from 2 to 8 p.m. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 25, the Board of Trustees approves the temporary closure of Job's Lane between Windmill Lane and Main Street for Southampton Fashion Week on Friday, August 5th, 2022, from 6 to 6:30 p.m. This event will be pre-coordinated with Southampton Village Police Department, Chief Hertow, Southampton Art Center, Joe Diamond, and Trustee Robin Brown. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
Thank you.
One other quick discussion. Trustee Brand, is there a way, I know obviously there's a plan here, but is there a way to maybe push this back even 15 minutes, 30 minutes would be ideal? Just because I know when we do the street closures,
Push back which way?
to about
To make it a little
6:15 or
bit-
6:30 to 7:30, because sometimes we usually get going about 30 minutes to even an hour sometimes before the street closure. So I know there's a lot of businesses that that might want to get that extra hour of
Understood.
sales in there.
Would you allow me to consult and get back to you in a day?
Sure. Maybe we could we amend the resolution to state August 5th at a time to be determined at a later resolution.
And I can get
And
back
then
to
we
you,
can do
yes.
that? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
So I'll. Sorry,
I
sir.
just want to,
So
get
what-
the time right with the people, and there might be literature was printed out, but I will certainly do that. Thank
So
you.
what was the proposed amendment?
Just an amendment to say that on Friday, August 5th, 2022, at a time to be determined by resolution at our next
And what
board
time would you
meeting.
favor?
I was thinking maybe 6:30 to 7 or
Okay.
6:15 to 6:45,
Okay.
something just a little bit later.
Yeah, that would also help with
Okay.
the traffic on that road
Yes, I will
at that
certainly
time.
get back to the
Yeah.
board. Thank you.
That would make a big difference.
Yes.
So, a motion to amend the resolution to read to be determined,
And to
the
The
time.
time to be
board,
determined.
To come back and brief the board,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, and to brief the board. So on the amendment, is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
And on the resolution as amended, motion?
I'll make the
We already had
motion.
motions. On the
Yeah.
vote,
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
all in favor. Okay.
Aye.
Whereas, all right, to resolution number 26, whereas the Suffolk County Water Quality Protection and Restoration Program provides grant funding on a competitive basis for water quality projects defined in Article 12, Section 2B of the Suffolk County Charter, and whereas the Southampton Village of Southampton has an interest in improving and protecting water quality in the various water bodies in the village, including Agawam Lake, and whereas the Village of Southampton intends to submit a proposal to the Suffolk County WQPRP Review Committee, which has established a deadline of July 20th for proposals, and whereas the proposed project will provide a design and development of green stormwater infrastructure at priority locations identified in Southampton Village Water Quality Improvement Project Plan, and whereas the proposed project will reduce the flow of pollutants of concern to Lake Agawam, and whereas the Suffolk County WQPRP program provides grant funding to support the selected projects and requires a 50% match share, and whereas the village will support a grant application to the WQPRP program for a maximum amount of $250,000 and an anticipated total project cost of up to $500,000. And whereas the county grant is reimbursed based on the grant award amount, now therefore be it resolved that the village board for the Village of Southampton hereby states its support of the Lake Agawam Watershed Green Infrastructure Project, and be it further resolved that the village will support the required minimum 50% matching funds towards the total project cost of the Suffolk County WQPRP, should the project receive funding approval from the county up to $250,000, and be it further resolved that the village will be responsible for funding any project costs incurred above the county grant amount, and be it further resolved that the village board authorizes the mayor or his designee to sign any and all documents pertaining to this project, including but not limited to an intermunicipal agreement subject to review and approval of the village attorney to participate in the referenced program. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 27. Whereas the New York State Water Quality Improvement Program, WQIP, has made funds available to implement projects that directly improve water quality, and whereas the WQIP program supports green infrastructure projects to improve the treatment of stormwater prior to discharge and receiving water bodies, and whereas the village is planning to establish a wastewater treatment system to serve the village downtown area, and whereas the village will apply for funding, an estimated up to $250,000 for eligible project costs, whereas the QWIP program requires a 25% matching share based on the grant award amount. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Southampton hereby authorizes the mayor to execute any and all documents pertaining to the New York State Water Quality Improvement Program grant application submitted requesting up to $250,000 and committing $62,500 in local matching share for the Lake Agawam Green Infrastructure Project. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 28. Whereas the New York State Water Quality Improvement Program has made funds available to implement projects that directly improve water quality, and whereas the WQIP program supports wastewater treatment improvement projects to construct municipal systems to serve multiple properties with inadequate on-site septic systems, and whereas the village is planning to establish a wastewater treatment system to serve the village downtown area, and whereas the WQIP provides a maximum funding of $10 million for eligible projects and requires 25% matching share or a grant amount of $2.5 million, now therefore be it resolved that the village board of the Village of Southampton hereby authorizes the mayor to execute any and all documents pertaining to the New York State Water Quality Improvement Program grant application submitted requesting $10 million and committing $2.5 million in local matching share for the Southampton Village sewer system. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 29, the Board of Trustees approves the next Board of Trustee meeting to be held, that was formerly held Tuesday, July 26, 2022 at 6 p.m. to be rescheduled to Thursday, July 21st, 2022 at 6 p.m. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That concludes the resolution program.
Thank you, Charlene. We'll move forward to comments from board members, and we'll begin with Trustee Aresta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I'd like to congratulate Brenda and Mary Ann on Employees of the Month for acting so cool, calm, and collective in a situation that they were in, and thank you for that, and congratulations. A few things. Next week, we're going to have a meeting with a different structural engineer to start some of the improvements that we have to make at the World War I monument. I'm sure most people realize, or maybe people have forgotten, that we're still trying to raise some money because in order to restore the World War I monument, the cost is going to be up to $400,000. Unfortunately, the monument that is so important to our village and such a symbol of our village is crumbling. There's many, you could donate right to the, yeah, that would be great. You could send that right into the Village Hall, and just designate it World War I Monument, and I'll just like to add any donation, of course, is tax deductible for this, and some of the local groups you'll be hearing about around the village will be donating to that, and which is great, so we could start working on that project, which is going to be a very big one. I guess most people, I hope you've noticed, but the plantings that were done on Aldrich Lane as you come into the village right past 7-Eleven have been completed. The mayor was very instrumental in helping get this done we had to go through the town in order to get this done, but it makes for such a nice entrance into our village. The DPW has been out patching potholes throughout the village. They've been cleaning up the beaches and parking lots, and as the piping plover areas are reopening, they've been working on removing the litter and tidal debris from the beaches. There's also, they've been working on some drainage as well on West Prospect and Hill Street and Tuckahoe Lane. And I know we promised that the big bellies were going to be in by the beginning of July. Just like everything else, there was a chip that was delayed, so we're hoping that they're going to be shipping out on July 20th. But I'm sure that hopefully that is going to be the date. I can't say I believe it or not at this point in time, but that's what the company had said to us. So hopefully we'll see those the big belly garbage cans going up on Main Street before the end of the month. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Aresta. Trustee Brown.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to talk about being the liaison to the youth, and this year again we will have Peter Marino sponsoring a Be Inspired for our young people. The date will be announced in October. So if you have a young person that is excited about being inspired, not just in the arts, but in other parts of the academics, because we know arts can stimulate all areas, please feel free to send me an email. You can catch my email on the website. Space is limited. Date to be announced at the next meeting. So we want to thank Peter Marino for doing this and all he's doing for our village. And we also want to thank the Hamptons Art Fair because it was held just a little bit outside the village. It was sold out. It was quite an event, and we're excited that it was outside the village, but they are aware of our beautiful restaurants, so we can have our downtown businesses take the benefit of people dining. So we want to thank them for that. And also, we're excited about partnering. We won't let that person out, the name out just yet, but someone is joining with me, and I'm excited to say that will be released at the next board meeting for an LLC class to be taught to our young people from one of our very own. So that's quite exciting. And a special shout out to our Climate Action Committee that inspired a little bit in us with our last historic bike ride. And we want to thank our officers that were there, Officer Tiffany and Officer Andrew, that were quite knowledgeable and teaching us all about safety for our helmets. That I would like to speak to the board as far as, along with our trustee Bill, as far as safety, and not saying that we want to create a zone, but we want to create an awareness and an education, the importance of a safety helmet. I received a letter from someone after the safety demonstration that unfortunately had a fall, but the good news was it went on the head, but because of their helmet, they were safe. So we want to take the initiative and get that knowledge out to our residents. So thank you, Climate Committee. Thank you for our police force. And it does take a village, and that's the impact that we want to have positively upon our village. Our seasoned citizens, I have something special coming for you as liaison to the seasoned citizens. We want to thank the Art Collection Gallery that will be hosting a art talk with one of their artists that is 90 years young. And we're hoping that the board will have a little light bite for them. And we're quite excited about that. So thank you so very much. We'll be sending more information out for the next one, and thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Brown. Trustee Manger.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to say thank you to those that have come forward with ideas for improvements in the village. I would also just like to take this opportunity to ask for comments from any other village residents who have ideas about our traffic, parking on the streets, how we can improve the flow in the village and make it, again, a better quality of life for those that are here on a regular basis. I do want to say that since I became trustee, I have met with the acting chief at the police department, I've met with the fire chief, and I've met with the ambulance chief, and have enjoyed getting to know them and getting, again, back into the swing of things here as a trustee again. I do want to say that in terms of workforce housing, I think we still need to work on that. And I've spoken to some of the members of the board about this, that if there is a workforce housing requirement in the village, that we extend it not only to residents of the village, but also volunteer members of the fire department and the ambulance department, so that they could also take advantage of the workforce housing as it may evolve in the village. Because it's very important to have as many volunteer firemen and ambulance workers be able to reside in the village. So I would like to see that as we move forward with workforce housing. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Manger. Trustee Stevenson.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. It's July in the Southampton, and of course, it's our busiest time of year. The traffic is really crazy. It's great to see so many people love coming here. As a trustee, of course, I'm concerned that if it keeps continuing to get to the point where people literally cannot move around, at some point people may say, yeah, we don't want to go there, which I think it would be terrible. So I am glad that we are considering ways to improve parking and traffic. I think that's got to be a big priority for this board. Obviously, there's only so much you can do if there's more cars than the roads to accommodate, but that's a big issue, and we need to focus on that. And I'm glad the citizens are also aware and concerned about it. I'd also like to point out that in the last couple of weeks, there's been some citizens or some groups protesting income inequality on Main Street over last weekend, and the Shinnecock Indian Nation access to village beaches. I want to commend the police department, Southampton Village Police Department, for handling those groups' efforts to highlight their concerns in such a professional way. The groups were able to make their feelings known, and yet the disruptions to the public were kept to a minimum. So congratulations and thank you to our Acting Chief Hertow for the job she did in coordinating and effectively working with that. As far as the Shinnecock Indian Nation goes, our neighbors to the west, we have heard your concerns. We've received many letters expressed from many citizens, not just from the nation, interested in giving the nation some sort of preferred access to the village beaches, the historical context of their concern. And I want everybody to know that this board is actively considering ways to best accommodate that within the restrictions that our village code currently applies to that. So we are not ignoring the concern. We are looking to have a dialogue with the nation and to do the best job we can to come up with a mutual agreeable solution for both the nation and for the village residents. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Stevenson. I'll just conclude with a few last remarks. One that is, particularly exciting. You just heard at the end of the meeting there was 3 long resolutions for grant money, $500,000 worth of grant money for the Lake Agawam Green Infrastructure Project, which was made possible in part by the Lake Agawam and village-wide watershed plan that we put together with the help of Nelson Pope and Voorhees. And then even more so, there is a request, and again, we don't know if we'll get it, but we are now we now have the ability to earn this, but we're asking for the maximum funding of $10 million for eligible project costs for our sewer district, which means we've come a very long way in order to be able to have the ability to ask for that grant money. This is a critical and important step in our sewer district. We've talked about the map and plan, and this board helping put that together with the tremendous help of the sewer task force. We're narrowing in on a location which we have a letter of interest for, and most importantly here, we said we were going to go out for grant funding, and here it is, a $10 million request to the New York State DEC, and there's going to be many more requests to come. But we think this is a great application. We don't know if we'll get it, but at least we are now have the ability to go ask for the funding. So I really wanted to applaud the sewer task force for their hard work, and we're going to keep on pushing here. But we are now at a stage that the village has never been before, where we even have the ability to go out and ask for this money. So that's a very important step. I also just wanted to welcome Alexa, who will be here at a short-term basis as a intern. She's been a big help. Thirdly, I just wanted to announce some positive news. I spoke to Southampton Town Trustee President Scott Horowitz, and he informed me that the picnic area is now open. We hope it stays open for a long period of time, but that's some good news over at the picnic area. And then lastly, we are just working very hard on our village downtown, but would like to speak to the board, our Gary Gillespie, the supervisors, and members of the CSEA to expand the downtown crew further. We're going to need a lot of help over the next 6 to 8 weeks as we see an increase of walking traffic in the downtown. So I really want to step that up as well. So I think things are going well. Very excited about those sewer and environmental resolutions. Village is in good shape and getting better. And we appreciate the hard work of all of the village employees and respective department heads who continue to make the village a success. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel, contractual, and legal matters. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The time is 8:53 p.m., Thursday, July 14th, and I'd like to make a motion to return to public session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to note that no action was taken in executive session. I'd like to make a motion for one walk-on resolution. Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, resolution added to the agenda. Resolve, the Board of Trustees appoints Eileen Powers Esquire as hearing officer for a disciplinary matter at an hourly rate of $275 or per diem rate of $1,500. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.